Hey guys, with the continuing component reloading shortage going on, it's going on about 1.5 years now, I'd say 2 years. I thought I'd show you guys how we turn everyday 40 cal brass into 44 mag projectiles. Right there, you can see those. And what you do is you start off by, what I do is I take these guys, the 40 cal brass. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. You find it at the range. People, they can't give it away. Best thing to do with it, instead of reload it, because everyone knows 40 cal is not that great of a round for self-defense, you can take these and stick them in your self-cleaning oven for an hour to anneal them. And what that does is it makes them soft. Let me show you. You kind of can bend these with your fingers. That's how soft they get. So, first step, take these guys, put them in your self-cleaning oven, anneal them. And what you're doing is actually you're stress relieving them, if I know my metallurgy correctly. And take them out. We stainless steel clean these. Boom, you see how nice and clean they are? That way there's no grit to get in between your lead filler and your jacket. Now of course these are not going to be these aren't competition grade rounds that you're going to be making. These are more like plinking, you know, when you have nothing else to shoot. These are almost free to make. So first thing we do, let me show you here. We got the little Harbor Freight chintzy little Chinese made drill master. It's a mini cutout saw with a 2-inch blade, and what we're doing is we're going to cut these down to size. So I kind of did a little bit of modification on this thing here, and you can see I've already got it set to the depth. And what happened is all we did was we took the clamp, we turned it upside down because it wasn't working the other way. They've got a little bit of a groove in here that they warranted. This clamp is supposed to ride on. Well, that screws this up. This is great for chopping, for making 300 blackout rounds. Not so hot for making cutting down 40 cal. And you can see the kind of modification we did. We just put a couple of self-tapping screws over there to a piece of steel, and this is our length guide. Works pretty good. And you can see there's our case. And I'm not even going to try to do this with one hand. It's difficult enough doing with two hands. Holding the camera. I actually come down, you cut your rounds, and there's your cut down brass. Now these guys are ready to load. Let's take these over to the loading bench here. And you can see I've got my stack. And these guys have all been cut down. They've been cut down to 0.7 of an inch, if I remember correctly. Let's get the tripod set up over here for you guys, and we'll go through and we'll show you just how we start doing these bullets. Again, we're making 44 mag bullets, or 44 special. They're going to be sized to 0.430 of an inch. And we're going to be using a Lee push-through size die to finish that off. So, let's get everything set up here so you guys can see how we do this. There's no science to it. All it is using a few of the tools that you already have. If you're a reloader, just going to be using some of the tools that you already have. Now after you get your 40 cal brass annealed, clean, they got to be clean, I can't stress that enough, cleaned and trimmed down to size, what we're going to do is we're going to find a slug, and these were cast out of pure lead. The purer the better. Roof flashing, plumber's lead, any of that lead. You want pure lead, not wheel weights. Wheel weights are too tough, you'll break your press. We do this all on an RCBS 2 press. This will do everything for you. This is simple. You don't have to buy any dies. Most of you have all these dies already anyway. Now this is 170 grain Lyman mold. You can get any 170 grain, 180 grain, 165 grain. You can use Lee, any of the 40 cal mold, and you're going to make yourself a bunch of 40 cal slugs. What I always do after you cut them down, I'm shooting for a target weight of 240 grains. I've got my scale right here. I put my cut down brass on there, and then I'll just check until I get close to 240 grains. I'll take 241, 243, and this is kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, 244, a little heavy. I got my bullets sized over here. I got my bullets all cast over here. There we go. We'll take this guy, and what I'll do is I got little bits of brass, little bits of lead over here that get trimmed up with the sizing process, swaging process. So I just fill these up to get your weight. Now you take your, let me show you. You take your bullet, put it nose down into the case. Take your sizing lube. You got sizing lube, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of a layer right here on the base. Now you're going to take your punch that comes from your Lee push-through sizer. This is the .430 size die. Excuse me, this is the .429 we're going to be sizing to, because every time you're sizing brass, you always have what's called spring back. You get a thousandth of an inch sprung back. So if we're sizing .429, it's going to end up kind of .430. Perfectly fine to shoot in all your 44s. Now, you take this upside down, just like so. Put it on your punch. And now, this die I'm using is a 7mm Mauser die. And we have it adjusted. Took out, this is the full length sizing die. What we did is I took out the decapping pin and I put my own pin that I cut as kind of like a push out rod, a hammer rod, because you're going to have to eject these shells as they go up. Now, first step is, and this takes a little bit of tricky, it's a little bit tricky, you're going to have to play with this die, the depth of the die, going up and down, just to see if it comes out the way you like it. Now, right here, upside down, we're going to put it up into the die, and we're going to push. You're going to feel a little bit of resistance, but what we're doing is we're squeezing the lead into the brass case. Now you take your mallet, and that's where this thing comes in handy. Up here, give it a tap, comes out, and you'll see your lead has been squished, swaged, whatever you want to call it, into your body. The body here has been swollen, has been swelled up, and what you want to do is you should start seeing the head of the case right over here, your rim start getting a little bit rounded off. If not, put it back in, do it one more time. Come down a little bit, there we go. Knock it out. There you go. See, we've seated it, it's flat, it's flush, it looks good, it's great. Now what you're going to do is you're going to feed this upright. A little more swage wax. You got your wax, right? Yeah, you have to have wax, otherwise if it gets stuck in here, you'll never get it out. You're going to take it, send it to the manufacturer. Now, we got this thing set, same depth. I've got lucky and I found two depths that'll work. The one depth for seating the core, which is what we just did, and now we're going to make the point on this. Bring it all the way up. You'll feel some resistance. That's normal. This one might take a few hits, and there you go. You've got a 44 mag die, 44 mag bullet made with a 7x57 die. Now you have one more thing you need to do with this, because right now, as this stands, this bullet is way bigger than .429 or .430. Right now this bullet is .435. See, we've actually swollen this case up, which is good, because we pushed all that lead into the bottom here and we just kind of squished it out. And that's what you want to do. That way, when you shoot these, they'll fit the bore beautifully, they'll engage the rifling in the barrel. You won't have to worry about having them tumble. So we'll do a couple more of these. Basically, here's my stash of ones that I've done. These are all ready to get sized. They're not done. They have to get sized still. Don't forget. Now look, these have already been formed. These are what the bullets are going to look like. Compare that to some Winchester. These are Win 44.430 diameter. These are 240 grain. You see? And they're almost the same. The only thing we don't have on this is a canneler tool. I'm working on making a canneler tool. After that, we could canneler these guys, but I've never had any problems. See? Now, some people would ask, you know, why would you want to go through all this? Because you can. That's all there is to it. Plus, I know you can cast all your 44 mag that you want out of lead. A lot of good bullets, Keith type bullets. But still, you have limitations with those bullets. You cannot push them past, I'd say, 1,1300 feet per second without, you know, seriously letting your barrel. These, you can push 15, 16, 1700. You could put them in your rifle. You could put them in your contender if you got a Thompson. Single shot. These will go. You don't have to worry about leading. So, we'll get one more here. And what I do is I try to shoot for a consistent weight of 240 to 242, and then we'll just separate them out when we load. You cast up a mess of bullets. You kind of go through, wade through, pick. It's like a Rubik's Cube. Some are heavier than others. And again, people would say, well, why would you go through all this? But you know what? It makes you more self-sufficient, especially with the market, what's going on now. Cost to make these bullets up, to make 1,000, you're looking at $34 to make 1,000 bullets. That's what the lead price, and the brass is almost free, because every time I go to the range, I pick it up. Now, same thing. See, the bullet, basically, you do not want any lube on the bullet. You do not want any lube inside the case. You're lubing right here. See this? That's the first part to go in. So, again, bring it up. Swage all the way down. Of course, you're going to have to play with this to get it to where you want it. Hammer it out. And there you go. You've got the case now. You got a little bit. If you get a little extra lead on there, don't even worry about it. Just pop it right off. Next step, get a little bit more wax. You're going to wax the bullet. Remember, you don't want to get stuck. And now you're going to stick this guy in upright like that. And this is going to form your point. And again, we're using this is a Redding 7 by 57 Mauser die. And you can use any type of any of the Mauser family. You can use 8mm dies if you guys have 8mm dies for this. That'll work fine. I've even tried it with the 7.62 by 39 die. Works good. Just use the sizing die, remove the decapping pin, and pop them in there. There you go. Quick, easy. You have yourself ready-made bullet. All you have to do now is size them and load them up. And I got a bunch of brass that I've been tumbling, and we're going to get these guys loaded up and we'll shoot them this weekend. And we'll put a video up of us shooting them. You can kind of get a look at them. We'll be shooting them out of a Red Hawk or Black Hawk, whichever, whoever I convinced to let me use their gun. These are running a little heavy, but again, we'll take this guy. Again, seat them in. A little bit of the wax. Got to use wax every time you're. Remember, these dies are not made for swaging, so you want to use a liberal amount of wax. Run it up through, all the way down. The RCBS, this press will handle the pressures. Remember, these are all dead soft. Brass has been annealed, so it's not that tough. Put them upright to form your point. And this is just piece of aluminum tubing or solid rod that I got, drilled a hole through it. That way I don't have to worry about it falling through all the time. Basic, simple. I'm not a machinist. I don't pretend to be. There you go. And you got your bullets. Beautiful. And pennies on the dollar what you would pay for these. I mean, they're pretty, yeah. But I guarantee you, you go pig hunting, you're shooting something, they will not know the difference if they get hit with a homemade swage bullet or the pretty bullets made by Winchester. Again, $34 a thousand. God knows how much they want for those. Haven't priced them in a while. Haven't need to. I either cast them when I want to go faster. I make my own. What a great use of 40 cal brass. Such an odd caliber. I always thought of 40 cal as being a bastard caliber. It had no use. But I found this method a couple years ago, and shit, there you go. All right, let's bring you over to the sizing die now. Now, you're going to need this. This is definitely your push-through die. You're going to need this. And what this will do, flunked film school, my editing portion. Here, now we've got this die set up right here, and this is the sizer. Now the size die here is 0.429. I don't know if you can see that right there. 0.429 Lee sizer. What we're going to be doing now is sizing these guys to that way we don't have to have any problems. Again, you got your wax. You take your bullet. You want to wax your bullet, and you feed them through wax, wax. I'm going to start popping out of the top, so you can use Lee's convenient little gadget here. Alright, here we go. Sizing your bullets. A little bit of wax, size. Very easy, cheap, convenient, using stuff that you guys already have. Now you come out, we're going to mic these here, give you a little bit of a preview. Now these, now remember, whenever you're swaging, you're going to have what's called spring back. The brass will spring back 1/1000th of an inch. This is a 429 sizer. We're at 429.5, 4.3 it looks like. Of course I should be using my micrometer, but I'm just going to use these guys for now. There you go. 44 mag brass. 44 mag bullets made from what you guys probably already have. Like I said, makes you more self-reliant. Well, that's about it. That's the way it goes. We'll be looking in a little bit more swaging. Keep you guys self-sufficient in shooting. Like I said, like I always say, go shooting, take kids shooting, and join the NRA, because they're the only ones fighting for your rights. Till next time.